algebraically. So one of these is the commutative property. Let's see if we can at least get through this one so we can this will remind you what this topic is even about. So the commutative property, here's the easiest way to remember the commutative property. The name gives you a really big hint. What does it mean to commute? Well, in math, to commute two things means that you're going to exchange positions, which is really what it means in real life anyway, right? In real life, what happens when your parents commute to work? They change places. They go from home to the office, and then at the end of the day, they commute home. They go from the office back home. So to commute means to exchange. So here's the commutative property of addition. It's very simple. It just says that if we have two things, A and B, which are being added, we can add them in any order we want to. A plus B is equal to B plus A. If we exchange the positions of those two things, it doesn't impact the answer, right? 2 plus 3 is the same thing as 3 plus 2. Agreed? Okay. Same thing works for multiplication. If I'm multiplying two things, A and B, I could either multiply A times B or I could multiply B times A. The answer is the same either way. Agreed? Okay. So it works for addition and multiplication, but I want you to notice here, this is very important. I'll put an exclamation mark by it. It does not work for subtraction or division. If I've got two numbers, 17 and 5, well, it makes a difference the order in which I subtract those. 17 minus 5 is different than 5 minus 17, right? Same with division. 20 divided by 5 is different than 5 divided by 20. So these do not apply to subtraction and division, only addition and multiplication. So that's the commutative property. We're just exchanging two things. There's a big clue. If you're going to get some questions where you have to recognize which property is being demonstrated in a question. Okay, here's a big clue. The commutative properties always involve two things that are being exchanged. Okay? The associative properties, the last one we'll do for today. Again, the name gives it away. To associate means to group. Who do you associate with? Your friends, right? You group yourself with your friends. If you're on a team or something, then you're associated with your teammates. Again, you're grouped with your teammates. If sometimes attorneys might have associates, they might group themselves in one building where they have a business together and they're associates. So the associative property just says that if we are multiplying or adding more than two things. So this applies to more than two things. We can choose how we group that. Everybody try this once. You can all do this for me. What's 2? You tell me the answer, everybody. What's 2? Come on. Oh, stupid word. 2 times 3 times 4. What's that equal to? 24. You're all right. 24. How'd you get that? Good. Okay. There you go. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, that's correct. And it tells you something important about multiplication or addition. We only multiply or add things in pairs. So we have to have, if we're multiplying more than two things, we need more than one step, don't we? Right? All this is saying is that we could do this. 2 times 3 is 6 times 4. So we could group the 2 and the 3. Or what else could we maybe do? What do you think? Sure, yeah, we could group the 3 times 4 and then multiply by 2. Agreed? Doesn't make any difference. We can associate or group those any way we want to when we're multiplying more than two things. The way we would say this, by the way, in math, when we put things in parentheses like this, we call it a quantity. So the way I would read this mathematically, the quantity 2 times 3 times 4 equals 2 times the quantity 3 times 4. Okay? And it works for addition also. So here's the multiplication version, right? A times the quantity B times C equals the quantity A times B times C. We can group it however we want to. We can do the same thing for addition. If I'm adding up more than two things, I can group those in any pairs I want to, okay? Because we have to only add things in pairs. Notice it does not work for subtraction. If I have an 8 and a 3 and a 15, well, 8 minus the quantity 3 minus 15, 3 minus 15 is negative 12, right? 8 minus negative 12 is 20. The quantity 8 minus 3, which is 5, minus 15 is negative 10. Different answers. So the associative properties, again, only work for addition and multiplication. Okay? Give me thumbs on that. All right, it's a good place to end.